Chapter 2, what is MEL and what can I do with it? Don't worry, I'm not going to use PowerPoint too much, but I like to use it a little bit just to get the structure going on. I would like to get that in your head from the beginning, that when you're programming, that structure is paramount. Otherwise you're going to get lost and you're not going to see the trees through the forest, or whatever that expression is. I myself am not much of a structured person either, but it is quite important that you know where things are. Anyway, what can I do with MEL? Well, the simple answer is that, everything. You can do everything with MEL. In my humble opinion, MEL is the main reason why Maya is the package in the industry right now, because it allows people who know MEL to expand the capabilities of Maya ad infinitum, limitless. Especially if you add to that the API, it's just amazing what you can do. These are just a couple of examples. You can automate repetitive tasks, you can expand Maya's capabilities, you can perform very complex tasks, you can create custom Maya interface, and much more. Now, just to scratch the surface a little bit, I'm going to show you some examples of MEL scripts, just to show you what is possible. The first two are scripts by myself, which you can always see and which is good practice. I precede all my scripts by my initials, KM underscore, and then the name of the script. These Final Rig and Snowmaker are scripts by other people. The company or the guy who wrote it is right there. But let's take a look at a CV amount in scene. Let me open up Maya. CV amount, the HUD stands for head-up display, you know that. And I wrote that because if you create a polygon in Maya, you can go to display, heads-up display, poly count, and you can get all the information about that polygonal object. You can see the vertices, edges, and things like that. But unfortunately, there is no such thing or no such directing for NURBS objects. So I wrote my own HUD. This is a HUD, heads-up display. Excuse me, for NURBS. So if I were to open up that HUD, so I can go heads-up display and then CV count. Now, if you have Maya open right now, you will not see this part of the interface, meaning CV count. That is because I added this myself. This is already a very important issue, where you should know that Maya's interface completely and utterly written in MEL, which means that you can, if you know MEL, you can just change the entire interface or add simple things like I did here. So if I turn that on and I were to create a NURBS object like a cylinder, you can immediately see here that I have 32 surface CVs in here, in that cylinder. If I were to create a curve just like so, then you can see that I have 5 curve CVs and I have 32 surface CVs. If I delete one, this will update accordingly. Now, this is very handy for modelers, just like you would use the polygonal display or heads-up display. This is one for NURBS. Okay, so let me just turn both off so they don't get in the way. Polygon, there you go. Create a new scene, and let's go over to the next script, which is display resolution gate. Now, display resolution gate originated from me doing a lot of rendering during a project and always switching on and switching off my resolution gate, which is right here, as you know, camera settings and then resolution gate. Now, this is a bit deep for me in the interface. If you count the clicks, 1, 2, 3, that's 3 clicks before I can get that. So I just mapped it on a hotkey, which is in my case it's Alt-C. Now, I mapped that to that hotkey, but to my constellation, if I were to create a new camera, that hotkey didn't work anymore, because that hotkey only took care of the resolution gate of the perspective camera. And as soon as you create another camera, that hotkey doesn't work anymore. It just turns on and off the resolution gate of the perspective camera. So I just wrote a little script that senses which camera is active, and then turns on the resolution gate on or off depending on whether it's on or off. So if I were to go to my 4 view and I use that same hotkey, you can see that I get my resolution gate just there. You can't see it, but it's there. So that means also if I create another camera, and I toggle on my resolution gate, it's right there. You can't really see it, but if I go in my, well, you can see it now. The setting that I have to change is, as you know, if I go to display options, I have to set my overscan to 1.5 so I can more clearly see it. So you can see it now. Okay, good. Let's create another scene again, and let's go over to the next script. The next script being Final Rig. Final Rig, as the name suggests, is a rigging script. A rigging script means that it will help you, it will assist you in rigging. Let's jump to Maya, let's bring up my shelf, and let's show you what this does. Final Rig, there's a lot of these scripts around. There is Animan, there's Final Rig, there is you know, every character TD has written his own. What this does is it creates a skeleton for you, and it creates character controls, all with 2, 3, 4 clicks, whatever, and then you have a billion other options that are just there for you to use. Let me show you what this one does. As you can already see, if I activate the script, I'm just gonna hide my shelf. If I activate the script, this appears within the Maya interface again, like I said before, because everything in the Maya interface is already Mel. So if you want to change it, you just have to know a little bit how to do it, and then you can just change whatever you want. So this becomes part of the Maya interface completely. It is not a floating window. It's just in a panel. The way to do this is also with scripted panel, which is very, very, very nice. Anyway, let me show you what this does. If I give my character a name and I create my guides, it will create a temporary skeleton. The idea would be that in this stage I would take the skeleton and I would adjust it. I would scale it and move it around so it fits within my geometry. After that, I would want my character control. So I'm going to select this main circle here. I'm going to go link to setup. It's a little bit bigger. And then I can change a lot of things. Okay, I can make some changes to it. I can choose whether I want FK or RK, whether I want to switch in between, how many spines I want, how many neck joints I want, and then I can just click this button. Okay, and then it will create the character setup for me. It will create the character controls for me, and lots of other things. Yep, there you go. You can see now that I have all my character controls. I have my spine control, which I can manipulate. It has nice features, such as if I stretch my joints too far, these boxes become red, which is a warning sign. But one thing that you also notice is that I have this whole customized interface right now, which allows me to hide my channel box right over there, and which minimizes the selecting of the controls that I have to do right here. I can select my hands, for example, by clicking here. Okay, that's exactly the same as clicking here. I can select my feet by clicking here. Okay, and then I can, you know, switch in between FK and IK on the shoulders, and so on. And below here I have the hand controls. If I were to zoom in on this hand, make sure that I have the right hand. Well, I can just try. This doesn't seem okay. Left hand right here. So left hand, I have my spread, I have my curl, I have my the movement of that joint. If I click these red buttons, that sets a key. All things that, you know, basically speed up your workflow enormously. Like over here you have your own little channel box. Depending on what you select, your channel box obviously changes, and you can set your keys here as if you were in the normal channel box, or you can set your keys here, or you can set your keys here. You can turn on a lot of things which are scripted, and you know, if you would want to create one of your own, it's all very, very doable with Mel. Okay, so let's skip to the next script, which is Snowmaker. Snowmaker is a script by let me see what his name is, by Steven Della Luca, which was written for a project that involved obviously a lot of snow, and he found it a bit tedious to do it with Maya, so he just created his own. Don't worry about this right now. You know that this you can notice that this is not the script that I'll explain later what this is in depth, so don't worry about it. You see that this creates a sky and snow. So if I were to play now, there you go, there you have snow. I think I will have to, yeah, hold on a second, I just have to point these sprites to the right image, and there you go, there is my snow. Okay, these images, by the way, which look just like snow particles, come with the script as well. Okay, so if I hit play, you see that this creates snow. I have a lot of settings. If I were to create a blizzard, for example, I can change this by just going set snow state, and then all these changes are brought through. I can change the size of these things, and if I just bring up my timeline so I can go back and go there, you can see that all these things happen, and now I got wind blowing through it and all that kind of stuff. There's a lot of expressions here behind that script, but the good thing is that the author of the script did all the expressions for you, and you just have to change these settings, and you know, that's it. That's how you can just create your snow nice and easy. Okay, and let's see that. And one final script I would like to take a look at is this one, which is KM Bookmark Manager. This script will be ripped apart in the second DVD, where I will show you how I created it from scratch. I will rewrite the script completely with you. As the name of this script suggests, it is a bookmark manager. I've found I use bookmarks quite a bit to make my shots, or to categorize my shots. So I use bookmarks quite a bit to do that, and I found that the bookmarks within Maya are a bit, you know, the management is a bit primitive. So I just wrote my own bookmark manager, which doesn't only create bookmarks and manages bookmarks. It just does a lot of other things which I can show you. You can, you know, look through the camera here. You can switch. Turn on the resolution gate. You can open up the attribute editor. Things that I've found necessary, and which sped up my workflow a whole lot. Okay, meaning, you know, if I were to change this camera view a bit, if I click on that bookmark, it will immediately jump to that bookmark. If I want to make this, let me create a sphere so you can see that a bit better, like so. If I want to create this a bookmark, I just add the bookmark, I say new bookmark, whatever, it gets changed. I want to change back to the other one, I go there, change back to this one, go there. Want to go to the other camera, look through that camera, just go like that. Okay, so what this all does, I will show you later, obviously, because we're going to write it in the second DVD. Okay, good. Let's take a look at the next chapter then. Okay.